Hey y'all, it's Boujee from Boujee, Texas BBQ, and today y'all are in for a treat. I'm going to show y'all how to make beginner-friendly carnitas as well as a fire-roasted green salsa. I hope y'all are excited because I definitely am. Let's get into it. Alright guys, so the very first step into prepping our carnitas is you are going to need 4.5 to 5 pounds of pork shoulder cut up. You can season this pork however you please. Personally, I like to use a Chile Lime Rub, but this specific rub gives it such a beautiful bark, so that's why it's always my go-to. Don't need a binder. I usually don't use a binder for any of my proteins, so I'm not going to use one today. To make your life a little bit easier, I do recommend greasing and using a wired rack. So when it's time to braise the carnitas, it just makes your life so much easier removing it from the smoker. And when it comes to how much you want to season, I'm probably going to use about a cup of seasoning, maybe a cup and a half. You just want to make sure that your pork is fully covered. We will lose a little bit in the braise, but it'll infuse into the pork while it's braising, so that's okay. Just make sure that every single side of your pork is covered in seasoning. While this is doing its nice little dry brine, we're going to head over to the Bronco and get it heated up. So today I'm going to be using Oklahoma Joe's slump charcoal as well as their mesquite wood chunks, and that's just to give it that Tex-Mex flavor. Mesquite wood is very strong, so you can absolutely over smoke your pork. So you're really not going to need too much mesquite wood. You just want to make sure that you're running a clean fire. Now, as you can see, I left some space right here. This is just to start my fire. I have about, I want to say, 1/4 to 1/3 of a chimney that's preheated, and now we're just going to place right here, which is going to be where my fire starts, and the fire is just going to move forward and burn a nice clean fire. This is usually how I start my Bronco. There's definitely other different methods. I just find this one the most useful and it burns the cleanest. Make sure it's all in there just like that. Now I'm just gonna let that wood and charcoal catch fire for about 10 to 15 minutes, or as soon as all that cloudy white smoke clears, then I'll close everything up, adjust the temp, and then we'll add our protein. Alright, if y'all can see the heat waves, you can see it's nice and clear and transparent. That is what you want before adding your proteins. So now we can officially add our carnita meat. As you can see, that rub gave it that nice, beautiful color that's going to give us such a beautiful bark. I'm so excited, guys. Now we just have to add it onto the smoker. I recommend smoking these low and slow, anywhere between 225 degrees to 250, just to ensure that that pork is infused with that smoked mesquite flavor. The bark gets nice and formed, and we will achieve a beautiful smoke ring. Personally, when I smoke carnitas, I let them go for about 90 minutes to 2 hours before braising. Alright guys, I'll see y'all in a little bit. Alright guys, so our pork carnitas have been smoking for about 90 minutes. So at this point, I'm really happy with the color. They feel really good. So now it's officially time to braise our carnitas. The braising mixture is pretty much the same whether you cook them traditionally and fry them in lard, or if you're smoking them like I did today. So you're gonna add 1 large yellow onion. Next, you're gonna add about 4 to 5 freshly minced garlic. Next, you're gonna add some freshly squeezed orange juice. Once you're done squeezing all the juice out, you're gonna put the peels in with the carnitas. Do not skip this step. Make sure you add the peels in there. This step is optional, but I highly recommend adding some more garlic powder, onion powder, and pepper melody. For authentic flavor, you're going to use the traditional Mexican bottled Coke. If you can't find it, you can use regular Coke. And you're just going to spread it evenly throughout our carnitas, the whole bottle. Since it's a smaller batch, I'm only using 1 bottle. If you do a bigger batch, closer to 6 pounds, use 2 bottles. Now we're going to continue smoking, this time at 275 degrees until they are probe tender. The additional smoke time can range anywhere from an additional 90 minutes to 2 hours. Alright guys, so our carnitas are officially off the smoker and ready to be rested. Now the hardest part on majority of these low and slow cooks is allowing your meat to rest. Don't worry, I'm going to show you how to make a fire roasted salsa that will pair perfectly with these carnitas and kill the time while your carnitas are resting. So let's get into it. Alright guys, so now I have my Bronco on grill mode, and by placing it on grill mode, you're basically going to put your charcoal basket and the charcoal catcher on top of the heating deflector grate. So I'm going to add a couple tablespoons of avocado oil, and this is just going to help us sear our veggies. Normally I like to sear them directly over the fire, but because the tomatillos are super small as well as the garlic, I'm doing it on a cast iron today. So you're going to add about 7 medium to small tomatillos. For a medium heat, add 1 jalapeno. If you like it extra spicy, sub in some serrano peppers. And of course you can't forget garlic. And then you're going to add your tortillas. Once your tortilla starts to bubble just like this, it's time to flip. So now that our tortillas are done, I'm gonna make sure that this foil is airtight. That way they get nice and soft. I'm also gonna wrap these in foil so they get completely rendered, and then it'll be time to make our salsa. Once we're done making our salsa, our carnitas will be ready to shred. My peppers are nice and rendered and they're cool to the touch, so now it's time to make the salsa. First, I'm going to crush the garlic with some salt, and you want to crush it until it becomes like a paste. Next, I'm going to add my jalapeno. I remove the seeds to remove some spice. If you like it spicy, leave the seeds in. I also remove the blistered skin just because it can taste a little bitter. On the tomatillos, it's a little bit different. You can leave the chard on. Jalapeno, you want to remove it. There's no right or wrong way to do it. You just want to make sure your jalapeno is nice and crushed. If you like it chunky, you can leave it like this. If you like it more as a puree, keep crushing. Now you can add your tomatillos. I prefer to crush them 1 to 2 at a time, depending how big they are. Now I'm going to add some white onion, not yellow, not sweet, white, and some freshly chopped cilantro. The reason I added the onions at the last versus cooking them, it's going to give our taco a nice little crunch that's going to complement the carnitas. And that, my friends, is how you make a fire roasted green salsa. Alright guys, these are the results of my smoked carnitas. They are officially rested and ready to shred. The bark is perfect and they are extremely rendered. Look at that, guys. Beautiful smoke ring, perfection. They're juicy. They're just perfect for our tacos. So I'm gonna set this to the side. Take off a couple more. Enough for our tacos. So I did get my I have the fire roasted salsa that I showed y'all earlier. I also have some guacamole, onions, cilantro for garnish, and some cotija cheese. I grew up saying cojita, but it's technically cotija. However you want to say it, it's a great topper. That pretty much wraps up the cook, guys. Thank y'all so much for being here and watching this recipe with me. I'm gonna just finish off garnishing these tacos, and the onion and cilantro is completely optional, but it just gives the tacos a little bit of a crunch, because remember guys, we want to complement the pork. We don't want to overpower it with too many garnishes. And that, my friends, is a beautifully rendered carnitas taco. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe button. Till next time guys, enjoy.